Hey, what's up, everyone? This is David Greenspan, and you are listening to Season 3 of the MindShare podcast, a proud member of the Industry Syndicate Media Network. Additional podcasts are available at mindshare101.com and on all the major podcast platforms. This week's episode is sponsored by Kits Keep in Touch Systems and the Buzz Conference. Make sure you connect with the Buzz Conference by visiting their website, www.thebuzzconference.com, and by following them on Instagram at The Buzz Conference to keep tabs on all the awesome events they are always hosting, along with getting their latest copy of the Buzz digital magazine. The Buzz is a leading voice in our real estate industry. Kits offers a fully loaded cross-channel marketing suite for the real estate industry, including tools to help you manage your business, generate more leads and more referrals, and build that mindshare to drive even more sales. You can learn more on my site, mindshare101.com, by clicking on marketing. And as you know, we are on a push to 100 reviews on iTunes, and so I would like to ask you, if you haven't yet, please take 2 minutes to go to iTunes, rate the show, leave a review. It really is that easy. And again, let me say thank you in advance. Today's episode is number 141. They are Kawartha Lakes Realtors with Century 21 Granite Realty Group Inc., who live in and work on the shores of beautiful Balsam Lake. 5 years ago, they made a drastic life change. They gave up successful careers and the hustle and bustle of city life, renovated their seasonal cottage, packed up their family, and moved to the lake full-time. They have created a strong referral business focusing on lifestyle change and relocation. And because they have lived it themselves, they are in a unique position to help their clients in what can be a very stressful transition. Their love for the Kawarthas is evident in everything they do. In the early days of the COVID pandemic, they saw an opportunity to help raise funds and awareness in the community. And to date, the Jump in the Lake Challenge has raised over $70,000 for community initiatives in the last 2 years. When not working to help others make a smooth transition to a new lifestyle in cottage country, she runs and teaches yoga and likes to read on the dock. And he enjoys swimming, coaching hockey, and building a rink of dreams on the ice in front of their waterfront home. This week on the show, I am joined by Realtors Dean Michel and Jennifer Bacon. Dean, Jen, welcome to the MindShare podcast.
Hello, David.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah. This is pretty exciting. I mean, I don't know what else we can say. You've kind of said it all. So I don't know where we go from here.
Well, listen, you guys have an awesome story, and I can't wait to, I've been fortunate to be able to hear it firsthand. But I cannot wait to share with everybody, because it really is one of those, those true good news stories. Now, we've talked a lot about different things, but just so everybody understands right now, where are you guys at the moment? And what are you looking at?
Okay, we're about 60 feet away from Balsam Lake. We're sitting out here on the patio, and if we would get any closer, but there may be sea-doo sounds and water sounds and all that, so we had to step back a little bit from the lake.
Yeah.
And just a minute ago, we heard that sound in the background. So what's that? He said, it's just a blue jay. And beautiful, absolutely amazing. But, my wife, Jen, not you, Jen, but my wife, Jen, and I have talked about this so many times in life, and I've brought this up with both of you guys, but we never managed to pull the trigger. Young kids, packed with sports, friends getting old enough, just like the kids are old enough to start bike riding to their friends' houses, like we trust it. This whole thing about moving to the cottage and moving up to cottage country, I mean, you guys did it. So I'm curious, what actually led you to pull the trigger and decide that it was time to leave corporate life, move to cottage country, and raise your family there?
Who wants to start?
Go ahead, Jenny.
I think it was just, Dean's from here. We're in a unique position where Dean grew up 3 doors down from where we're sitting right now. So we've been coming here since before our kids were born. Everyone in Dean's family is in the area. So it was kind of a coming home for him. And it was always the end game to move to the cottage or to leave the city and retire at the cottage. But I think it was just...
It was Sunday nights.
Yeah.
It was Sunday nights. It was a Sunday night. And we go, got 2.5 hours in traffic, getting home, unpacking, laundry, groceries, get ready for the week. just so we can get back up here. Like,
so you guys did what most people think about and loathe, like that whole thing of like driving home. You guys were like, forget it. We're just going to stay.
Right.
Amazing.
How do we make that happen? And that was, it was a good 6-month plan. It wasn't just like, hey, let's just do this. No, there was a lot involved. There was an awful lot involved. Yes. And,
I can imagine.
It was a big, for us, it was like, okay, so what are we going to do for a living here? We're not going to commute to the city every day back and forth.
And working from home wasn't really a thing. So we had to
find a new career.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What led you into real estate? It was exactly that, kind of going, okay, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, we batted around this and that, and I figured, well, I can't cut lawns for a living. I mean, it's just not enough work there. And so
you've got 25 years of sales experience. So we figured the skill set would transfer over.
That's right. And you have...
And I'm administration.
Promotion.
And promotion. So we kind of brought that together and just thought we could create this unique person who could do everything.
I got to say, there's definitely a real interesting dynamic there between the two of you that just seems real natural, real fun, real comforting. Professional, all of that mixed in. So Jenny, as you say that, like sort of like that one person, I'd say, yeah, like it actually works really, really well there. So the question then, what did you guys do to initially start building the MindShare to literally kick off this real estate business? I mean, obviously you got to go get your license and everything else, but now it's like, okay, we're there. We've decided to make this move. We've got to generate revenue. We've got to make an income. What did you do to start actually building the MindShare so people knew what you were up to?
Well, we made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, so we learned. I like it.
We learned from our mistakes. We had this notion that we're going to come up here and we're going to turn the whole industry on its tail, and we're just all these fantastic marketing ideas that we've been working on, and that's just going to put us right to the top. Come on, no way. I mean, we look back now and, David, when you look back and you go, it's a good thing we made the mistakes, because if we didn't, we wouldn't be where we are now. I mean, they weren't like bad mistakes. They were just things that weren't working, right?
No. And you think, I don't know, you put an ad in the paper, send out a few flyers, and people are just going to start picking up the phone and calling.
What about we had this booth set up that we went to all the town fairs and everyone at festivals. It wasn't a bad idea. We met a lot of people, but we weren't really gaining any traction from it. We were handing out beer cozies with our logo on it. We had billboards, we had everything. And then we really started to understand that it was more of like a referral type thing. And that's where we really shine here. Yeah. It really does. Well, and
I was going to ask you that, right? Like where did that actual first deal come from then? Because I mean, like anything else, right? As we're working to come up with something and we think we've got this wonderful idea and we're going, okay, I got exactly mapped out. Then we go to execute and you go, why didn't that work? Like I had the whole thing mapped out. But I mean, listen, that's realities to life. We know that. It's the first time we put on skates or we went to try swimming. It wasn't the easiest thing in the world, but the more we did it, the better we got at it. And we learned what not to do or what to do to make it work. So I imagine that there was a lot of that. But, when you look at it and say, we realize it's more of a referral, where did the first deal come from? Somebody I guess?
Well, and we're still learning an awful lot. But
of course,
as weird as it sounds, but the pandemic really made us step back, look at all of our processes, and set us up for the success that we're having right now in a very strange way.
We realized that everything had shut down. It was the very early days. We were just ramping up, and it was our make or break year.
It was make or break. We were like, if we don't do it this year, that's it. We've got to find other jobs. Yeah.
And then the pandemic hit just as we were just building some traction. Things were starting to kick off for the spring market, and then everything shut down. We thought, we can either just tuck our tails and run, or we can really dig in here. Everyone's shut down. So it doesn't matter if you're making millions and selling tons of homes or you're just starting out. Everyone is now at ground zero together. And if we can take this opportunity to get our act together and really figure out what's working and what isn't, put some processes in place, we can come out of this ahead of the game. And that's what we did.
Well, and you know what? That 6 weeks there, we were working literally 14-hour days. We weren't running around showing properties but we were 14-hour days, 7 days a week, because we knew we had to get this code cracked somehow.
Yeah.
We laid everything out.
We did.
Figured out
intense,
how everything was.
It felt so good. Honest to God, it was this is really refreshing. Wow.
And then it was why didn't we do this 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
Yeah, but that's the process of living and learning, right? I know last night I was watching, funny the way you guys brought this up just now. This whole thing of, trying and then saying we knew we had to make it happen. I was watching a keynote last night from Barbara Corcoran. You guys are familiar with Barbara Corcoran?
Yes. Yep.
Told a story about how, she started a real estate business and then this empire, never mind business, this empire. She sold it for $66 million. And all of a sudden she had a lot of money in the bank. And then she had to go do things. Anyways, the long and short of it, to fast forward that whole thing, is that, come COVID time, she's got 80 different businesses. And she saw the writing on the wall and said, you know what, I'm going to call all of my businesses and tell them, here's what we need to do to make sure we stay resilient. And she admits, and I don't remember the exact number, but she admits like 80% of the businesses have basically failed. She says they're still in business. I mean, she goes, they think they're in business. They're not really in business. They're all struggling. She goes, the ones that actually doubled down and said I'm going to figure this out and I have to make it happen no matter what. She goes, those are the ones that multiply their businesses during the pandemic. Right. And it's that resiliency. It's that, and there's, I guess the message, the learning moment in that is there's the resiliency of it to say, no matter what's thrown at us, no matter what we thought was going to work or what didn't work, we know what we need to do to make it work, or we're going to figure it out regardless.
Yeah.
And there's the key, right? So okay, as we look at the business then and the business of real estate for where you guys are selling then, again, looking at where it's coming from, are we seeing most of the business from people we know? Are we seeing most of the business from people we know, referrals directly from contacts? Or is this coming from a lot of strangers and people we don't know?
No, it's all people we know.
It's the former, 100%. There's some a little bit that come from strangers, like someone just looks us up on Google and we chit chat, whatever. But no,
99% of our business comes from
referral, and it's a. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, people we know, referrals.
We cut over each other all the time. Jenny's better at it than I am, but
no, you got to dig in.
I have to get a chance here. No, it's become, David, the referral of the referral almost, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right? It's a referral of the referral.
That's interesting, right? Because you're in cottage country, come from the city, although you did grow up there, Dean. You also know a lot of people in the city. And there's a lot of business coming from still people we know rather than going after strangers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right? And it could be argued because you're not in a compacted city where there's tons and tons of people to go out and door knock and everything. We've even talked about that before. You don't want to be door knocking cottagers necessarily, right? So it's a very different animal when you talk about earning business and finding people. And yet you're still saying that the business comes from the people you know. So are we seeing this, are we still seeing the craziness of the buyers coming out from the city, coming up to the Kawartha Lakes?
Not as much as it was this spring was just, it's weird because the spring started in January. Okay. This past spring started in January and we're looking at cottages when we typically don't. I'm building my rink. My rink had its worst year ever because we're out so busy, but it's tough because you can't see underneath the ice. So they're asking, so what's the waterfront like? Look how high that dock is sitting, the piers, this, that. And, we try to look at the terrain, but man, it was tough. So it had a lot of steam. It's still going, not to the demand level where it was, but we're still seeing things go.
This is traditionally our slow time. This is when we normally would take a vacation.
But we're not.
We can't.
No, we can't.
No.
The summertime is one of those times, and the way I'm looking at the market right now, from the folks that I'm speaking. Okay.
Oh.
Sorry, I think we had a little bit of a momentary technology lapse there.
Yeah, I saw that little lag.
What were you saying again?
Welcome to cottage country.
I as I was saying, that the neat thing that we can offer is that we made this relocation because there's a big push of people that want to leave the city or plan to leave the city in 5 years, but they want to get their nest built now, right? So we were early adopters of it. So we can talk to all of the potential issues, benefits and issues that you have to be aware of. You're going to move to the cottage full time. You're not just sitting on the dock. Yes, you are, but you're not just ordering pizza.
No,
there's no delivery.
Yeah.
Right. For the most part, things like that,
No, it's definitely a big move. And in fact, I was going to ask you about cottage purchasing, or even shall we say, selling real estate in cottage country. It can be a very seasonal purchase, and that causes the ups and downs of the business. I guess you come to expect some of those ups and downs in the business. But how do you guys make sure that you're always focused on what needs to get done, no matter how busy you are or aren't with clients, to know that regardless, you're putting in the effort into your business and staying positive that even more is coming, even though we don't really know where it's coming from?
Well, I'm inspired by Jenny, because if I don't, then she just yells at me all the time.
Brownie points. I love it. I love it. He's a pro this
No. It's interesting too. It's this business is so funky in a way that, I just had a call this morning from someone. They're looking for a place. I got a referral from someone else last night. And you think, oh, this just sort of fell out of the sky, right? It just fell there. But actually didn't, because that referral came from someone who we've had a good relationship for years, right? That
you're always calling and checking in and following up with. Yeah.
It's
making the calls.
Well, it is. And I got a text from someone last night, said, just to let you know, we've shared your name with friends of ours who are looking for a cottage. They may call you, they may not. Great. Thanks so much. Right. So we built some trust in the community here, and we just keep striving to, it's funny too. We like to help people in that transition, right? The relocation transition.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't think so?
I'm sorry. You were just saying something. You just kind of cut over. Yeah. Go on. Tell me more.
No, but the
I love these guys.
It's so, David, this is nothing. You should go on. We can go check out our Facebook lives.
If you guys are following them on Facebook, make sure you check it out. Even the video that you guys have on the website too.
Hang on, I got another line to check here. Our business model is to help people. Really, essentially, It is. That's where I was going, Jenny.
Okay,
and it is a fantastic feeling. It's one of the best feelings I've ever had in my professional career, to go see someone after they've moved into their cottage, right? And it is just,
they're so happy.
They're so happy. And like we say to our buyers, and our sellers too, more so the buyers, is we're not going to leave you behind, right? We don't leave you behind, because we have a wide network here. Heck, if you need help taking your dog out in the fall, Finn, our son, and I, we'll go, we'll help. Mm-hmm. And it's just a nice feeling. These relationships, they're there for, I would say, almost a lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, they're coming in, and not everyone has family here. Right. We have, when we transitioned here, we had a long history here. So we knew what we were doing. We knew where to go when something broke down or something needed fixing or you needed to buy something. We know where to go. So a lot of these people that are coming in, it can be overwhelming when they think, well, I've got to deal with a septic system, and I've got to deal with a well, and I've got these dogs that have to go in and out every year. And what if I want an addition built? Who do I call for that? We've got those resources and we've got those connections. So it's nice to be able to share that knowledge, and kind of, they almost come in and we become friends, and it's kind of nice to be able to have that connection and share those resources when they need them.
That's the thing, I guess, because you come up there, you come up to an area that you don't know much about. Everything's a little bit more spread out in terms of where to get stuff and where the resources are. It's good to have resources in people that know what's going on out there.
For sure.
Question. You guys eat a lot of ice cream up there? Kawarthas.
We do.
Had to do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But here's one. With so many unknowns about buying a cottage, and as you guys were just talking about this, because I wanted to transition this to something, right? But with all the unknowns, right, between recreational properties, seasonal homes, again, you guys are certainly uniquely positioned to understand, the ins and outs to make this a very smooth process. And tell us more how you do this. And I know you just started with that, but it's obviously not easy to just jump up and meet with people like you guys again. And I'm talking, we're delivering a message to our realtor family at the moment as well right now, right? That again, if we think about being in the city and somebody calls, you can kind of get in your car and just go. Here, when you guys get an inquiry, it's not just that. I mean, sometimes, even you to go see a property may have to drive an hour and a half, but your clients also have to come up that far. Some of them even more than that. So what are some of the need to knows for anybody who is considering making a move, or even the realtor who's debating the back and forth drive? I mean, like, I might in the same breath be asking, although obvious, like, why you as a local realtor?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, you need a 4x4. You need 4-wheel drive, especially if it's winter time. If you're thinking purchasing a 4-wheel drive vehicle, Jenny?
For sure.
For sure. The winters up here.
Some of the goat paths we go through, even in the summer after a heavy rain, getting through some places can be tricky and treacherous.
Yes. Just don't do it. If you don't know your market, if you don't know the area that you're going to work in, then how can you help someone do that? Right? As I've often said, like, we would never, ever try to sell or help someone buy a condo. I know we can trade in Ontario, but that's not our expertise. We can go through and do all the research on that, but there's no way. I'm just going to refer you. I'm going to find someone I trust and put you in their hands. We'd still be part of the process, but no, I wouldn't touch it. I mean, everyone's got their own thing, but I would suggest that, find someone who knows.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about that. And I mean, this is a conversation we've had, I've had with you guys, I've had with so many different people. It's been an industry conversation, use local. And, I'm going to ring that message true. And there's a lot of people that I talk to as well that say, it's only 45 minutes or it's only an hour. I can do the drive. And, on one hand, look, to everybody listening and tuned in, I can fully understand the, desire to want to go out and bring in that revenue for yourself. Mm-hmm. Much the same, I think we miss a serious opportunity, though, when it comes to referrals. And we miss a serious opportunity in, one, most importantly, protecting our clients, right?
Yes.
Protecting their best interest. I mean, if you're selling real estate in the city, you cannot claim to know, let's talk about, Dean, you mentioned with the, when the ice freezes over, see the water, right? And see what's in there. Some people are looking, and I mean, I've learned this from you guys and learned this from others, but, what is the water bed or whatever you call it there? Like, is it full of seaweed? Have you got stuff growing by your dock all the time? Is it rock, slate, whatever? Is it sand? Can I jump in? Can I not jump in? I mean, depending on what your desire is for your cottage property, do you want to jump off the dock? Because if you want to jump off the dock, there's some places you can't jump in. You're going to have to walk 50 feet before you can even jump, right? Depending on the size of the boat that you've got or what you want to do with that. A local realtor isn't going to know these things. And they cannot claim to know it. Maybe they've had a cottage somewhere, but to really fully understand it. I mean, hey, when do the black flies come out? When do the mosquitoes come out? When is the buggy season? When is it not? I know you mentioned one time to me about the, because I said to you, I said, that, what was it? The Western shoreline. Sunset. You said, wait a second. Here's what happens with Western shorelines.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. The prevailing winds will hit in a bigger lake. It's going to hit that shoreline hard. You're going to have waves most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. And potential ice damage too. So, yeah, you like the sunset,
to your dock,
to your shoreline, to your dock, your potential boathouse. All that is a potential on that shore in general. I'm not making,
I mean, it's potential everywhere.
Yeah, it is. But
the prevailing winds will push the ice in that direction more than they would on an eastern shore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
so to somebody, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, just, everyone loves the idea of the sunset. I get it. But think about it too. You may be missing the moonrise. We are on the Western Shore, so we enjoy the nice, beautiful sunrise, but we also get a moonrise. Those big harvest moons, David, that come up in the fall, and you've got your fire pit, and all of a sudden that big orb in the sky's coming up. It's fantastic. You wouldn't get that on the other shore.
And in January, February, when morning starts later, it's 7:30 in the morning when the sun's finally coming up, and I can sit in my living room and watch the sun come up with coffee before I start my day. There is something to be said for an eastern exposure.
So we like to talk about this with all of our buyers, and we've got quite an extensive criteria checklist.
Yeah.
So we don't just start, you want to buy a cottage? Just go run around and look at stuff. No way. We need to know, what are your wants and needs, and what are your core needs that you won't give up on? Because it's okay, to have that core need.
It has to be a western exposure.
If it has to be, okay. But what else would you be willing to give up on? Maybe the price has to go up. Maybe there's this, maybe there's that. But we have those frank discussions well ahead of the time before we start. Because you're right, there's so much territory up here. We can't just go to one little neighborhood and see 6 houses and move on. There's no way.
It's a day commitment. Yeah.
Well, there's the other thing, and that's something that I don't think people take much into consideration is, if I think I'm going to come up there to see one property, I may drive into the driveway and be like, what am I doing here? I don't like this place. It's not like you just go down the street to go to the next place.
No.
You may need to drive. And as Jenny, you just brought up with the drive, you better know what roads you're taking, what kind of car you've got, even before you venture into that.
You do. And you need to really know where you're going. There are some areas we've driven through that aren't on a map, and you've got no cell service.
Yeah.
Let's say, what do you do then?
Yeah.
You don't drive down an ATV trail is what you don't do. And if you do, you figure it out pretty darn quick that you need to turn around.
Right. And you better have the right pickup truck for that, right? Or you better be on the ATV. You definitely don't want to be in your luxury vehicle driving from the city to come up there and do that.
No.
You could guess that. But there's also a safety precaution that needs to be taken too, though, as we've just stated. You really have to understand the landscape of what you're working with. And I think all of these really come back to that whole fact of, again, using that local realtor, right? Really using somebody who completely understands what they're dealing with. And look, this goes the same way. And you just said it. You wouldn't be selling condos in the city.
No way.
And just to reiterate that and clarify that for everybody. It's not, hey, don't come up to our place, but we'll come down to yours. It's for everybody. Can we do, and we said this a moment ago, one, the best thing we can possibly do for our clients is to provide the knowledge and the expertise of what it is that they're looking for, because that's why they brought us in to begin with. Mm-hmm. The other part to that really is, hey, there's a referral opportunity there, right? Mm-hmm. And that referral, not just with your clients, but, agent to agent, colleague to colleague. Because if somebody sends you something up your way, and all of a sudden you've got somebody who's looking down that way, who's the first person you think of? Well, it's the person that probably sent you something originally one time before. Now you've collaborated, and now there's an existing relationship, right? And we've just opened up an opportunity for even more business.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing to consider, David, is with our network, what do we call it? The Jedi
Council.
The Jedi Council. That. Okay, here's the Jedi Council. We always suggest using a local real estate lawyer, because there's some ins and outs up here that, I'm not saying that an urban type lawyer may not know, but they may not know. We had a deal a few years ago, almost didn't close over an access issue from a municipal road. We were 3 days away from it not closing because this lawyer couldn't figure it out. Now, whether he had the expertise or not, whatever, I don't care. Mm-hmm. We scrambled. We found our guy up here who took it on. Thank goodness. Friday afternoon, worked his ass off all weekend and closed the deal. Okay. So we've got the Jedi Mind Council up here ready to go as well. That's the other thing we can offer.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of that, you guys have actually taken this entire thing of educating people to a whole different level. and you've actually been presenting a step-by-step guide to other real estate offices within your network about the need to knows of cottage buying. And let's take a moment to share that, because I know for a lot of people tuned in might be interested in learning more about that. Because again, I recall when we first went through and I went, oh my God, like when you brought up the road and started telling me stories about being stuck in places and things, I went, wow, like, yeah. Again, the Western exposure thing, like everybody thinks sunset. But then again, there's a lot of logic to what you just said there. And there's a lot of other things that you brought up, and I won't share them now. And I don't remember them all either. You're the experts, right? But you guys, like, you've put together a whole, like, actual proper presentation, which I know you've already presented to other C21 offices for sure. That's gone over incredibly well. Tell us a little bit more about that, and sort of what did you do with those offices, and what opportunity is there for others potentially to want to learn from you guys?
Can I plug an office or no?
Yeah, you're C21. That's okay. We're not shy about that.
Aaron Richardson, good
Aaron's
friend of ours.
Great guy.
He asked us because we helped him get his place up. He bought it himself. But anyway, we made that connection with him a few years ago. Fantastic guy. He said, you know what? I'd love, and he sent some referrals our way that we helped with. And then he said, would you mind doing something for our whole group? We said, yeah, sure, we can try to help out. And he brought us on for a webinar. Was it 45 minutes or so?
Yeah, about an hour.
Yeah, an hour or so.
Talking about kind of big picture things to consider if you're thinking of bringing your clients to cottage country, because you don't know what you don't know, and there's a lot to know. So just some high level things. And then if you want to know more, you can give us a call. But yeah, we covered.
Where's the fire hydrant? That was the topic.
Right.
Where's the fire hydrant?
It's not here.
No.
No, but yeah, things like wells and septics, because they're big ticket items. And a lot of times we'll see offers and they're not even addressed. Like, these are expensive systems that have to work for the entire property to work. And they're often overlooked. So it's good to know how they work and why they're important and what it means if they don't. What else were we talking about? Shore road allowances. So do you own a lot of lakes in Haliburton more than Kawarthas? You don't own the shoreline.
Mm-hmm.
The government owns the shoreline. And that, I mean, overall, it doesn't stop you from enjoying the shore. No one can come and take it from you, but it limits what you can do as far as building on it. Permanent structures, houses, that kind of thing. It could be a limitation. So it's good to know whether you own that or not and what you can do to buy it if you need to. Things that people don't necessarily think about day to day when you're working in an urban environment.
Oh yeah, it's like there's things you wouldn't even think about. You just go, there's a cottage, it's got waterfront, perfect. Then you get up there thinking you're going to build this beautiful boathouse with, like, a gazebo on top or something to enjoy, and you're told you can't do that. Who do they turn to when they realize and learn that they cannot do what they thought they were going to be able to do? Who are they going to yell at?
Yeah.
Right? So again, this is about, protecting yourselves against having people come back and point the finger, because that's not going to bode well for future business. That's going to not bode well for referrals. That situation is just going to feel off. So again, hence the reason why using a local realtor will always be a better choice for both you and your client. Right? It's the safer choice. You can still look. Let's call it brass tacks. You can say make money on the deal. Right? You can still but you'll save yourself a bunch of time. You'll save from the travel. You'll save yourself a bunch of headache from trying to figure things out that you probably don't have answers to, that are going to drive you crazy. And all the while, it all just comes back to time. Time is money. Hey, save yourself the time and the money, right?
Exactly.
Refer it out and maybe give yourself the opportunity for more money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and our thing too is we're big on communication. It's huge for us. And so someone refers someone to us, that realtor, we're in touch with an awful lot.
Yeah.
Because now as that buyer, they've got that trust with their local realtor. Now they're building it with us, but the referring realtor, they don't just walk away. Like, we include them the whole time, right? Say, hey, there's this, there's that. What do you think? It's good. It's a collaboration, really.
And there's the powerful thing, because they're the ones with the actual relationship with that person.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So now, right. And this came up on my talk with Sandra Kirkland last week on the show. And we talked about how, and she brought up a really powerful message. And her and I have shared this message for a number of years together. There's a lot of negative vibes in this industry between the industry itself. And a lot of that will reverberate to, if I'm dealing with my client and the agent on the other side didn't do a great job, client asks me why, and I kind of poke at that other agent and I kind of make fun of them, right? I kind of shoot them down a little bit as opposed to like brushing it off. What we've just done is put a negative spin on the industry, right? And so much the same in this light is like when you've got a good rapport between both agents. Now, you're both supporting the client. The client is having the overall best client experience they can possibly have because they got the knowledge, they got the relationship and the trust. Hey, this is going to work out. This should work out pretty well, right? Hence why communication is so important.
And we're all working together. We all, regardless of whether you're a buyer or a seller, we all want the same thing. We all want two happy clients, one with money in his pocket and one with a new house. And if we work together on that, it goes so much better than if you're kind of adversarial. How can we come to an agreement here? If we're not fighting, it's not me versus you, it's us working together. It has to be collaborative.
It's a great message.
Oh, is he making notes there, Jenny? What's he doing there?
Yeah, you know, I like to write down a couple things. No, I really like that. So okay, so here, real quick on that front then, if anybody wanted to get in touch with you guys with regards, like how would they be able to book that presentation so that they could bring it into their office and have all their agents see it?
They can email Dean.
Yeah, they can email me. Go to our website, and that's where all of our contact is.
KawarthaLakeside.com.
KawarthaLakeside.com.
KawarthaLakeside.com. Cool. Okay, correct. So, you know, for anybody that's interested and says, you know, I don't know enough, or I've got agents that are sending clients up that way, or these two are just phenomenal people and, you know, we'd like to learn from them, go to KawarthaLakeside.com and make sure that you check in with Dean and Jen and find out how you can book that presentation. Now, guys, I love it. You are leveraging the power of teaching to help others, to help you build MindShare. I absolutely love it. I think it's brilliant. But speaking of building MindShare, you two have started a fundraising campaign.
Oh boy!
Called we got to bring it up. This is the feel good story right here. Okay. But you guys you started the fundraising campaign called the Jump in the Lake Challenge, and it's just completed its second year. And you have raised over $70,000 for your community initiatives this year. Like, first off, congratulations. That is absolutely amazing.
It is.
That is awesome, guys.
Yeah.
Tell us first, who were you raising funds for and why them?
So it was the pandemic when it first hit. We had supported our local food bank through different initiatives. And then I heard through the grapevine, it's like, actually, I called. How are things? Well, you know what? A lot of demand now. We're not getting donations and this and that. I said, okay, well, what can we do? What can we do to help? We go live on our Facebook channel on Friday. The ice had just left the lake. So it was like mid-April or somewhere around there. Anyway, so I'm on the dock and I threw it out there. And I don't think you even knew.
No, I didn't.
She didn't even know. Because we have these things called Fun Fridays and we just free-flow whatever and have some laughs. So I'm on the dock and I thought, you know what? If we can raise $500, I'll jump in this ice cold lake.
$500. Okay?
And then just $500.
Yeah,
and I said, I'm starting with 50. I said, I'll put 50 in because I really didn't know if we'd get that far. Mm-hmm. And so then I said, and furthermore, if you want to see Jenny go in, get it to 1,000 and she's going in too. Well, the look on her face was just like she was going to push me off the dock right then and there.
You didn't need the money.
No. 5 is good.
Yeah.
5 is good.
So anyhow, by the end of the weekend, David, we had $3,000 at the end of the weekend. So and it just kept going and going. So that was year one. And we ended up with,
we thought we've got something here. This could be something,
but
right?
It wasn't just us doing it because then friends of ours heard wind of it. Right. And they said, well, we want to help. What can we do? So we'll jump in. Really? How do you do that? I said, okay, we set them up. So we had 15 people across 7 lakes jumping in, right? They all filmed it. And then
We shared it on social media.
Yeah, it was like, and so 15, so it wasn't just us making, like,
we had help.
We had a lot of help, right? Yeah. So that's year one. Year two, we're like, okay. Speaking to the people, the food bank, they said, we're kind of more stabilized now. Okay, we're good. All right. I said, well, there's a new wellness center here that we need in Cobeconkin area. It's going to be basically a medical center and other wellness things like chiropractic, dentistry, all that. And so there's a big need for fundraising there, okay, to the tune of $1 million the community has to come up with. And I said, okay, let's turn our attention to this. So we started back in March, and the wellness center people said, oh, this is great. And it's through our local Chamber of Commerce, of which I'm a director on the board. They said, oh, that's great. We'll give you support and we'll get it going. Man alive. It took off too. Like, this was $55,000 this year, 30 people. And
wow. It was great.
It was just something else. Yeah. So we've got a logo now. We had the city of Kawartha Lakes. They love this concept too. And they said, we're going to support you. So they made towels up.
Okay, hold on.
T-shirts up.
This is, I'm going to ask you about the marketing for 1 second, but I wanted to do one thing here. Unlike the other organized polar bear jumps, because I just want to clarify that, because you just mentioned that.
Yes,
right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen in one central location.
No.
And I think that this is massively important for everybody, because I think that this is how, it's where the growth happened, as you sort of mentioned this year, right? And with this whole thing around, social distancing. And I know you guys were heavily promoting that as well, based on the fact that essentially this is something to bring people together, but at the same time as a way to do it together, but socially distanced. And not, right? And so instead of doing this again in one central location, you guys actually had people do this off of their own docks, or a waterfront location of their choice. I just want to get a little bit more detail for everybody how that works, because I imagine there's going to be some people going, wait a second. Wait, where do we go? How do we do this? Because you bring up a good point there. It's not like you're in, the West Coast and these guys are doing it in Kawartha Lakes in Ontario. People have to fly in from somewhere. You want to be in the West Coast and somehow do something out there, you can completely take part in this challenge and start to really build this thing up, because it's already got a bunch of steam to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Remember the ice bucket challenge a few years ago, David?
Yeah, I remember. I got a video with me and Joshua doing it. He was a little man. I still have it. And it's like, oh man, it's the cutest thing ever. Because because he was this little he was this little guy though, and he did it with this little pail. He's like, okay. Anyway, sorry.
It's the same concept. Anyone could do it. If you had a swimming pool, right?
Yep.
You have a swimming pool, David?
Not yet, man. I'm working on it. But I'm going to come use your lake this year.
Yes.
You are.
We're going to hold you to that.
No, it can go anywhere.
It was a set time on a set. So it was May.
It's the first Saturday in May.
At 1 o'clock, or was it 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, yes, because we need time for the sun to come out and warm things up a bit. Because May is not a fun time here to jump in a lake. But yeah, so it was a set day, a set time. Mm-hmm. Everyone could raise money. Some people were raising money for their own initiatives.
That's right.
You didn't have to join in with us and raise money for our wellness center, because we had people jumping that weren't in the Kawartha Lakes, that it really wasn't relevant to them. So people could raise money for whatever was relevant to them. And on May 2nd at 2 o'clock, we all jumped in the lake.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And, I had a side bet with my, not that I have a gambling problem. I just but I had a side bet with our broker, Brandon Nimagon. He's up in Halliburton, right? He heard about this thing and he said, oh, this is fantastic. I said, okay, let's put our money where our mouths are. Whoever raises the least amount of money between the two of us spends an extra minute in that cold lake.
Oh, okay.
He said, you're on, Dean. And then we just got going. And hey, it's the charities that are benefiting, right?
Absolutely,
and so anyway,
man.
you spend an extra minute in
there. Yeah, congrats to you. Eh?
Yeah.
Well, you see, but that's why I wanted to bring that up because, again, knowing this, that again, one, you can participate in any location of your choice. Two, you don't necessarily need to be raising funds for something that is not necessarily within your community. You can actually start a different initiative within another community and still leverage the jump in the lake, timing, date, branding, logo, the MindShare that's already built around this initiative. Because look, it's getting out there. I mean, you guys had the media involved in this thing, and you really, really managed to get the words out there. In fact, what type of actions were you guys taking to build so much MindShare? Like, within the community, beyond the community, like you really hit it out of the park. I know you had various interviews from different media outlets. I know Aurea did something with you guys. Like, there was like radio station stuff. Like you really, really got the word out on this thing. Share a little bit about that with us.
Well, okay, let's talk about the MindShare that it builds, first of all. And Jenny, I'm going to turn it to you for the grocery store story. Okay, this is where it's at. And we weren't really doing it for, it wasn't like, hey, look at us. We're the realtors, and we're like, we really meant to try to make a difference in the community. So go ahead, Jane. But the spinoff is this. The
spinoff is, when I go into my grocery store now, I get stopped by, hey, you're that realtor who jumped in I don't want to sell my house, but I know who you are.
I'm not selling my house, but
they always qualify. Yeah, you are, but I'm not. Yeah.
So that worked.
It wasn't the reason we were doing it, but it's such a great side benefit that now
people know us.
People know us. Our community is getting to know us, and they like what we're doing, and they're participating. They're doing it too. It's wonderfortunately.
Yeah, and like the marketing, we took it on a lot of it ourselves to reach out. Fortunately, we have a background in media, so it wasn't all that difficult, but. We wrote press releases. We put the word out, and then we were on the local radio station, Bob FM, and then I get a call from CBC Ontario Morning. I'm like, what? Oh my goodness, this is going province wide, really?
That's because it caught its traction, though.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you connected with one, and then connected with another, and the next thing you know, again. I got to say, there was MindShare that was built. There was a grapevine, a little bit of a snowball that started, and then it started to really grow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's okay. So now I totally cut you off on this before. You guys went the extra distance, though, to ensure that everybody felt like really attached to this thing, right? It wasn't just, hey, jump the lake. Okay. Take a picture and send it to us. Like you guys, you had, sorry, Dan, I totally cut you off on this before, but you had the logo made, you had swag made. There were posters that were made, jumpers received t-shirts. They got towels. Like there was a whole feeling of like, you are part of something. This isn't just
we had
put a Facebook post up.
No, we had a Facebook group that we created where we could share. We had one woman posting every morning. She would go down to the end of her dock on video, check the temperature, record the temperature, and say, "Ooh, this is not going to be good." And then she would post every single day. It was so cute.
Oh no! And you know what? It really, aside from the money, which is fantastic, it really brought this community together. Okay. And that's huge. Mm-hmm. It really is huge when just the anticipation of people are calling, how do I get involved? It's exciting. And it's the anticipation, David, is something, I mean, that thing is coming up, whether it be your vacation or this or that. And what you're all excited, but what's it going to be? Well, that week leading up to the jump in the lake, it's snowing. Okay. Like it's frigid. You're watching that temperature and you're going, no matter what, I'm going in. Yeah, but it'd be much nicer if it was 20 degrees, eh, Jenny?
Yeah, it was cold and rainy.
Yeah.
It's not pleasant.
So it's just fun. Like literally, it's fun. It's cold, okay, but
it's quick.
And then different people are doing their own spin on it. Like some people are doing cannonballs off their dock because it's deep. We talked about our dock is a wade-in thing, so we can't do that.
And you'd need a local realtor to fully understand.
Exactly.
Plug.
Yes.
No, and people are going, and here's the other thing too. I must add this. the morning of, so I'm handing out all these swag bags. It's come to the house, pick it up, and you got a t-shirt, your towel, all that, and thank yous to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And the one young lady who had just joined in, and she said, well, I thought, I didn't think I could raise $1,000, but we raised $1,200 or something. And she goes, and Dean, you know what? I didn't really even try that hard. She goes, wait until next year.
Wow.
I said, next year? She goes, well, we're doing it again, right? And I'm like, yes, we are.
There you go.
And the year after, and the year after, and the year after that.
Yeah. We're committed now.
It's only going to get bigger and better for the growth that you guys achieve from year 1 to year 2. Just absolutely amazing, and I think that, again, everybody tuned in, everybody listen to this, really take a stab at this one here. I mean, you guys asked me if I had a pool. If people have a pool and the pool had water in it, not that people with the pool probably open it that early in the season, but if they did, could they leverage that?
Certainly. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing too. Some people say, well, I'm having a heart attack. It's cold water. And we don't promote saying, oh, you got to do this thing. No, none of that. But you can participate. You don't have to jump in. You can participate by donating.
There you go.
Okay. Right?
There you
can
go.
Still be involved.
Right?
I like that.
Yes.
So tell
maybe
me
next year I'll donate.
So, okay. For anybody that wants to host an event or raise funds for a good cause, okay, and we're talking in general for a moment here.
Yeah.
What are like some of the key need to knows that they would need to know before getting started? Does that make sense? So we talk about putting on an event. I want to put the event on, so I need other people. I need to bring people in. If I'm trying to raise funds, I need to have some sort of reason for what I'm doing, and I need to figure out why and what's the mechanism to get us there. So sort of putting that on you guys, because you've been through it. What are some of those key need to knows if I'm sitting here going, I'd like to try to raise some money and I'd like to bring my community together? And I'll tell everybody the real easy answer is just join the Jump in the Lake Challenge. Outside of that, though, just assuming that I just got to do it. But outside of that, though, as other people might have something that they want to come up with, that they've thought about it, they've concocted, but they've never pulled the trigger, where would you say to start, or maybe what should they know?
They need to find a service group. Like, what are you raising money for? Like, if you're partnering with a community service group, that's great, because they likely will have some resources that you can leverage as well, and they've got an entire audience that they can help spread the word with. So if you're raising money for your local food bank or animal shelter or Boys and Girls Club, I don't know, they will likely have a CanadaHelps.org page where you could set something up to receive the money. They will likely have done some kind of fundraising before, so they can give you some tips and some ideas on what you could do or how you can go about doing it. They also would likely have volunteers to help you, and they would have their own network of people that you could leverage and reach out to as well.
Yeah, if I could add to, and do it for the right reason. Do it for the right reason, and don't expect to get anything back financially because, oh, look at me. No, do it because it feels good for you, and do it because it is making a difference. And then you'll be motivated. It's a lot of work though, David. Like, don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
We started for the Jump in the Lake Challenge in May. We started planning in March.
Well, we started planning in February. We
launched in March. So it was this year, 4-month run up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, we've already started for next year. Now we've got a countdown clock on our website. But yeah, it just know going in that you'll make a difference, but there's some work behind it. It's all good things, right?
No, absolutely. And I think bringing people together for anything is always a challenge. It's not as easy as just, hey, come, let's go. And, you might get that flyby that's like, yeah, we'll see you there. But, if you don't remind them, you don't tell them about it, you don't pull the coattails a little bit, they just may not show up. So bringing people and putting bums in seats is always a challenge for most things, be it a fundraising awareness, be it for some sort of event, be it for, anything at all. You could be hosting an open house, right? Like just bringing people in. It's never just the easiest thing. So there's got to be a mechanism to that. And I love what you just said there, Dean, about, it's not about the money, right? This is about helping others. This is about doing it for the right reasons. And it's amazing that when you really, truly do things for the right reasons, they're not selfish, self-serving, money-driven. Somehow the universe actually helps you out. They just lift you up, give you a little bit of air under those wings, and just help you kind of get to that next place. So to that, as we talk about the plan for next year, and as we look ahead and say, planning's already underway. What did we say the date was again for next year?
It'll be May 2nd, Saturday, May 2nd, 2022.
Okay. And people
put that in your calendar, my friend.
Yes, sir. Kawarthalakeside.com no, you know it for sure.
Yes.
Kawarthalakeside.com to register, or is the link is on the site for everybody?
Registration is not open yet.
But there's videos on our site to see all of the jump in the lake fun stuff from last year and the year before. But we're not open to registration yet because, to be honest, I mean, it's the pool. We call it the pool. It's a big pool. It's 75 degrees right now.
Yeah.
So there wouldn't be any of that challenge.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. It's not that people got to jump right now.
There's no drama.
Not that people have to jump right now. But I will say to everybody that if you have interest in joining in, be sure to connect. Even go to the website, watch the videos, watch the fun that's going on. Shoot Jen and Dean a message and just say, hey, put me on your list. Keep me posted when this happens. This way, at least you can reach out and you can stay abreast of what's going on, and maybe ask your own questions to them. Find out what they're doing ahead of time to start the pre-plan. And, if you're going to do this in a different area, not necessarily their area, you really want to take this thing and, grab it by the horns and run with it. Get in touch tomorrow, get in touch today and find out more.
Sure. 100%. Like, we would love to see this thing go right across wherever, and it has the potential to.
Oh, yeah.
That's the exciting thing.
Absolutely.
It has the potential to.
Yeah.
Right. And so let's spread this thing. Let's go out west. Let's go down east, wherever. Why not?
You can do it for any initiative you want. You can do it in any location you want, and not for anything. But if you go to the website and you see the logo and you see the towels and the t-shirts, you're part of something. It's not like you guys have done it right. So for anybody again interested, you're already part of something. This is like those other big fundraising initiatives that we hear about that big corporations run. I mean, they all start somewhere. And this is very much a grassroots level that has really exploded in a wonderful way that has massive potential. And I think that, as more people get involved in it from wherever you are in the country, North America wide, this thing can be very, very, very cool. And again, most importantly, we're putting a ton of help into the community. I mean, you can't get better than helping the community, period. Right. So guys, again, on this note, on the Jump of the Lake Challenge, just a massive, massive congratulations on all of the success, raising over $70,000 for the community. Not only an incredible accomplishment, but it is proof that when you put your mind to something, you can do anything you want. So curious, couple last questions here. How do you guys know it's been a successful day for you?
Oh boy, that one's on the spot. I would say I feel good. I mean, for me, it's when at the end of my day, right now, actually, I'm it's not a fundraiser, but it's my personal goal to swim across the bay in my lake. So at the end of my day, I'm in this little training session right now. So at the end I know it's successful when I've had time to do my swim. Okay. So that's for me.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Jenny?
I don't know.
Watching me swim?
Maybe.
She's sitting there steering the boat just a little further away. You got this, dude. Yeah, you got this. You go.
Keep going.
I'll be right back.
I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I think a happy day is when I know that I've helped a client.
There you go. Yeah.
In some way.
It's the golden answer right here. Help.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you, you might have heard me say it a million times before. And I know my regular listeners, and I love you all dearly. You've heard me say this every single episode when I ask that question. There's not a person that brings up the word money. Nobody, zero, nothing, and anyhow, perfectly well said and very much in line. Just before we take off, what last words, tips, advice, anything that you guys want to share with anybody who's tuned in to help themselves get out there and build more MindShare?
Well, I would suggest stop texting and emailing and actually call people. You've said it before, David, and we embody that. We're always calling. And I tell people, you start working with us, you probably get sick of hearing from us because we call an awful lot. Hey, Jenny?
We do.
We call a lot. But yeah, make the calls.
I like it. It's a people business.
It is.
I have nothing else to add. I don't know how I can top that.
You guys are absolutely amazing. You have been amazing guests today. My cheeks are hurting from the smiles and the laughter, seriously. But sincerely, I thank you for the insights. I thank you for the time today. I thank you for joining me as my guest on the show and sharing with everybody. And again, I just want to reiterate to everybody, kawarthalakeside.com. Go there. You can learn more about Dean and Jen. You can learn more about, the presentation that they're doing to teach people, the importance of understanding, purchasing cottage country, selling cottage country. You can learn more about the Jump to the Lake Challenge. And so I just encourage everybody to go over there, connect with these guys there. You can tell they're obviously absolutely amazing people. Guys, thank you very, very much, Dean, Jen. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Yeah. And we'll see you May 2nd.
Yeah, I've got it in my calendar. You're either listening to this on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or Spotify. Or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com, and while you're on my site, make sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle for Realtors. This is a 31-page ebook packed with a ton of tips and tricks for you. Plus, there's a ready-to-go 90-day social media content calendar to help you build more mindshare so that you can get more market share. And if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching to help you get to your next level, just get in touch with me. We'll set up a free consultation call, learn more about what you're looking to achieve and how I will help you do just that. Also, don't forget that our push to 100 is on. So be sure to please go to iTunes, subscribe to the show, rate us, and leave a review. And if you haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook at MindShare 101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan 101. I want to once again thank Virginia Munden and the Buzz Conference for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure you connect with the Buzz Conference by visiting their website, www.thebuzzconference.com, or by following them on Instagram at the Buzz Conference to keep tabs on all the awesome events they are always hosting, along with getting the latest copy of the Buzz digital magazine. I also want to thank Kids Keep in Touch Systems for sponsoring today's episode. If you haven't checked us out yet, if you haven't seen anything about Loop CRM, just go to my site, mindshare101.com, and click on Marketing. This has been another episode of the MindShare Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.